Yellow Group A correctives for San Joaquin Memorial High School. First exercise is a leg lock bridge. The leg lock bridge will be performed on a foam roll with one leg flexing and the other hip extending. Lift the hips up to the ceiling after pressing the down leg into the foam roller. Supine marching is the next corrective exercise activity. Core engagement is very important. Level of the hip is important. Good posture should be maintained during this activity. The core should be braced before lifting is activated, and the core should also be activated before the leg is raised. The next activity is lower body rolling. The core should be braced, then the leg should be raised and reaching across the body. Lower extremity is the only part of the body that should be moving. The upper extremity should remain paralyzed or still. Keep the non-reaching leg straight the whole time and reaching in opposite direction downward. This reach will be performed alternating sides. Then the rolling will be performed on a face down position. The core, the bent knee, the lift of the leg, and the reach across the body is the order in which this roll will be performed. At the end of the reach, straighten out the leg as much as possible to extend the hips through the glute. Prevent the low back from hyperextending. The movement should be through the hips. It is a hip extension exercise, not a hip or low back extension exercise. Focus on squeezing the glute again. Emphasize to extend the hip. The next activity is dead bugs. This exercise is performed face up and is performed with cross patterning reaching. Only reach out as far as you are able to maintain the ribs and back flat. Face should be relaxed, low back should be flat, diaphragmatic breathing should be performed, and bracing of the core should be performed while moving the limbs. Progress to moving the legs straight and perform the dead bug with all limbs straight up in the air. Again, relaxed face, relaxed deep breathing, mindfulness of the correct posture and maintaining the posture while limbs are moving. Progress to moving same side limbs as well as alternating limbs cross patterning. The next exercise is the frog roll. The frog roll should be performed slowly and rolling to the side, touching the same side elbow and knee together while on your side. When moving back onto the elbows, brace the core, hold the position for one breath, and then move again to alternate sides. Next activity is the bird dog to perform cross patterning activities. Begin this in the quadruped position or hands and knees position. Drive the limbs down to the ground and then lift up the opposite limbs off the ground. It's important that the drive happens before the lift. Hold every position for one breath. Stay long and tall with the spine. Do not let the back hyperextend or push towards the ground. Reach the arm and leg apart in opposite directions. Once mastered, the progression would be to add head rotations, as well as to take note of which side is better than the other. Slow plus breathing on side that isn't moving well should be performed to even symmetry. Head nod to move your head in all planes of movement. Progress to touching the elbow to the knee instead of hand to knee. Another progression would be to touch, or regression would be just to touch the hand to the knee when performing this cross patterning. While the limbs are reaching, the student athlete could perform circles while reaching across and reaching away from each other. Move in opposite direction. You could also spell a name or make boxes and other shapes. Challenge and improve your coordination. Slower equals faster improvements. The last activity is marching/skipping. Marching should be performed before skipping and is done very slow without the foot leaving the ground. Once that's mastered, skipping should be performed, moving opposite limbs, driving the foot into the ground, maintaining the tripod foot. Progress to rotating the head side to side in marching and in skipping. Do the same thing backwards. Progression could be to move the head in the opposite direction, moving towards the arm. Another progression could be marching or skipping side to side. Make sure that you're pressing and pushing straight up and down rather than crossing the legs just like is displayed in the video. Focus on moving straight up and pushing the force into the ground, moving your body up and down. Then do the same thing with turning the heads in opposite directions when this movement is mastered. Marching first, then skipping different variations.